We get bombarded constantly with terms like investing in this or that item. This item you can love for many years. And I'm guilty of this myself because I truly believe in this. And I think it's about time that we all start focusing more on this. I think it's about time that we actually start loving these items that we invest in. I've been doing online content about minimalism for a total of 5 years. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years now, I think. And I've kind of reached a point where I feel like it could be good for me and for you guys with a challenge. I'm gonna do a so-called low buy challenge in 2020, and I hope that you guys are with me and that you want to join in on this challenge with me. So all throughout next year, I will buy the absolute minimum and I will not get carried away. The challenge will basically be for my whole lifestyle, but the content I will be creating will mainly be focused on fashion, beauty, and interior, because that is what I make content about here on my channel. First up, before I get into the rules and the goals of this challenge, here's some thoughts on why I feel like doing this right now. So I want to see what else I can do with this job I have as a so-called online influencer, which, by the way, is not the only thing I do for a living. As some of you know, I also have my own secondhand web shop, which just turned a year this month, that I'm very proud of. I also have an ethically made jewelry brand. And I also recently started doing more speeches, and I've done a couple of workshops on how to build a lasting wardrobe, which is something I would love to do much more of in the year of 2020. So I'm doing a whole lot of other things on the side of being an online content creator. I love our community in here so much, and the fact that I've been able to help so many people all over the world is just beyond me. And I would love to keep inspiring people all over the world to live a more meaningful and simple life, like I've done all along for the past couple of years. And I guess somehow I also really want to challenge the whole influencer industry way more than I feel like I already have since I started my channel. So that's kind of one side of the whole thing, but I'd also like to take a step back just as a regular consumer like you guys, because I am a regular consumer. I'm not an expert or anything just because I'm a sustainable spokesperson or because I make online content. I'm still just me. I'm just a normal person. I saw this quote on the Be More With Less Instagram account the other day, which I can highly recommend you guys to follow, and it said, "If it costs you your inner peace, it is too expensive." And it just struck me. Having to live up to my own high expectations of making the absolute best sustainable choices as a consumer every single time I buy something because I'm terrified of climate change has been rough. And it needs to be rough because we all need to break some boundaries. We all need to challenge ourselves. There's been a lot of pressure on me also having to live up to the expectations of my audience. And it has cost me a lot of my inner peace this year, I have to admit. And I'm not saying this so you guys will feel sorry for me, because obviously I put myself out there. I have some opinions and I get to influence people and inspire them. So obviously I need to think a lot about what I do and what I choose to include on my platforms. Most importantly, I've learned a lot from you guys. Sustainability, veganism, zero waste are all such hot topics right now, and I'm interested in all of them. But a lot of the feedback that I sometimes get on these things are, things that I don't necessarily have the ultimate right answer to. No one has the ultimate right answers to this right now because we're all on a journey. Sustainability is not black and white, as it turns out, and it can be kind of a struggle to figure out what's up and down, what's wrong and what's right. So because I'm this sustainable spokesperson, I'm sometimes almost demanded to have the right answer to things. And the truth is, I don't, even though this is my job now. I have a lot of ideas that could be part of the right answers to this whole thing, and I see myself as part of the solution. Another thing is that I've been doing capsule wardrobes for around 4 years now, and it's been a long and fun process of decluttering my wardrobe, really getting to know myself, getting to know my style and what works for me, really learning to build that lasting wardrobe that I've basically always dreamt of. So I have a wonderful mix in my wardrobe now of older items that I've just loved for years, great secondhand finds, also just some great investments that I've made over the years. And the truth is, I feel so happy and satisfied and content with my wardrobe as it is right now, and I feel at peace with it. So all of this combined, feeling a bit overwhelmed by my own expectations as a consumer, the expectations from my audience sometimes, and then also just in general feeling like I don't really need any more clothing. All of this combined has kind of spurred on my curiosity for a low buy challenge. So that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this in the year 2020, and I really hope that you guys will join me. The main goal for me with this challenge is to simply get back some of the inner peace that I feel like I've lost this year. To let go of not only my own unrealistic high expectations for myself as a sustainable consumer, but hopefully also some of the unrealistic expectations that I get from my surroundings, but also let even more go of bad habits, because truth is I still have some of those. I'm not a perfect person. There's still so much focus on the consumption part of sustainability, like how can we all become better consumers? And while I feel like this is super important, don't get me wrong, it is super important that we all become better consumers, that we all choose to support smaller independent brands that have certifications and all that jazz. It's something I need to become much better at myself too. I'll admit that right off the bat. I just think that in general, there's too much of a lack of loving what you already have in this whole thing. It's more focused on consumption, really. And just because you buy things that are sustainably made doesn't mean that you can just overconsume headlessly. One of the most sustainable things that we can do, and one of the most effective ways we can help our planet out right now, is to focus more on what we already have. So that is what I intend to do. So why low buy? Why not no buy? Why not a complete shopping ban all throughout 2020 to really give myself a challenge? It would be impossible for me to follow. It would probably be impossible for many of you guys to follow 100% because our lives change all the time. Maybe you're expanding your family, whatever. So I would potentially set not only myself but also you guys up for failure if I would put up a complete shopping ban for 2020. So that's not what I'm gonna do. Nothing kills your vibe more than feeling like a failure, right? So instead, I'm gonna do a low buy all throughout 2020. A challenge where I'll buy the absolute minimum. I will not get carried away, which is something I've done all along since I started my channel pretty much. But this time I want to really commit to it more. I want to set up this challenge for myself, more commitment, not only as a consumer, but also as a content creator. And I'll get more into how this might affect my content and the way that I do collaborations and ads, stuff like that later on in this video. I've gotten inspiration for a few of these from Style Apotheca, who is super inspiring. She did a low buy challenge in this year, 2019. And I think that now she's switched over to more a low buy lifestyle, which I think is amazing. So let's go over the 6 rules that I'm gonna set up for myself for this challenge, and feel free to follow these rules yourself. Feel free to alter them so that they fit you and your lifestyle. The first and most important rule is swapping or secondhand first. One of the most important questions I need to ask myself, which I already do, most of you guys already know this, is can I find this item that I want or miss in my wardrobe? Can I find it secondhand? I already have this secondhand first rule as a way of shopping for new clothing. This of course doesn't mean that I'm just gonna shop away. Again, I'm not gonna give myself a green card to just headlessly consume. That's not what this challenge is about. But if somewhere along the way I find out that I'm really missing a summer dress or something like that, I'm allowed to see if I can swap my way to this item, maybe swap some items with family and friends, or if I can find it secondhand, then that is okay as well. I'm gonna aim for trying my best not to buy any new clothing at all next year, or secondhand, whatever, because like I said, I feel pretty content and satisfied with my wardrobe as it is right now. Again, life changes, my body might change, something can happen, and I might just, again, find out that I really feel like I need a great summer dress. So I'm still allowed to thrift or swap my way to items like that. The next rule is to ask myself buying questions. And again, this is something I already do, but I just want to put them in here to really commit to them. One question you could ask yourself before buying something either brand new, swapping your way to it, or thrifting it is, can I wear this item 30 times? Like, do I see myself actually wearing this item at least 30 times? Do I have something in my wardrobe already that I can wear with this? Is it gonna be easy for me to style this item? Does it feel comfortable? Do I feel like myself in this item? Do I feel at peace with this item? The third rule is basics and one-to-one replacements are still allowed. So if I wear something completely out, like a pair of jeans that I absolutely cannot live without in my wardrobe, I'm allowed to repurchase or find something similar to replace that item. I'm also still allowed to buy things like undies and socks, t-shirts, like the core basics like that, still allowed to do that. And again, I'll do my best to only support the ethical and sustainable brands in this whole thing. I've also reached a point where I really know what works for me beauty-wise, so my beauty vanity is really like complete, I feel like. I'm not running around trying out new things because it didn't work completely as I thought it would, or I feel like I'm very satisfied with what I have in my beauty drawer. So I'm gonna stick to those as much as possible, also to eliminate waste. If I buy something and find out, well, this is not at all right for me, I know what works for me at this point. So I'm gonna stick to that, and obviously I will eventually run out of shampoo or moisturizer, whatever it might be. So I'm also still allowed to replace these along the way. The fourth rule is really like a continuance of the rule I just went through, and it is to support ethical brands only. Again, this is also something that I've done for years. I don't support any fast fashion chains, but I could definitely become better at supporting smaller, independent, sustainable brands. And I know this. It's still hard to be perfect in this field, and this is definitely that field that I feel like I need a break from, because again, I don't have all of the right answers. And right now, because sustainable fashion especially is such a new thing still, there's still some struggles with transparency, there's struggles with greenwashing, there's struggles with sizing, because many of these brands have a very limited size range, so they only have like sizes that fit the average size person, which I know is a huge problem. Really, my best tip here is to do your best. Like, just do your best, because you cannot be perfect in this matter. So in general, I think my best tip right now is to look for these smaller independent brands that have clear certifications, so that there's been a third party in on the whole thing to verify that they're actually doing something good. And I'll update my list of brands on my blog very soon, so that you know what these brands might be, so that I can keep providing you guys with that service. So the fifth rule is all about gray areas, and this is especially inspired by a style apotheca that I mentioned before. So this could be weird things like receiving a gift card, or getting gifts in general, maybe buying other people gifts as well, where you kind of like need to buy something. Do what feels right for you in this area. Like, there's no right answer. I'm not completely sure how I'm gonna deal with this yet. Recently went to a baby shower for one of my best friends, and I brought a puzzle for her that I've already done myself, and I know that she loves puzzles, so kind of went around the whole gift giving like that. And I think that's something I might try to stick with in 2020. But yeah, do what feels right for you, do your best, let friends and family know that you're doing this low buy challenge, so that they have a chance to know, and also respect the fact that you want to limit the amount of new stuff that you bring into your life. The sixth and final rule is to stick to the list. And I don't only mean the rules here, I also mean, like, if you have a shopping list, if you're in the middle of creating your dream wardrobe right now and you don't feel like you can go on a shopping ban or a low buy challenge, make a list and stick to it, and then do your best from there. I do realize that one of the reasons why I can do this now is because I've spent some years really nailing my own style and my wardrobe, and I finally feel like I'm at a point now where I can do a challenge like this. I'm not in the middle of building my capsule wardrobe. So if you are yourself in the middle of still building your wardrobe, just continue your journey. I'm not like expecting you to jump aboard if you're not ready for it, but maybe you can still get inspired by these rules that I've set up, because there's still a little room for consumption, but just a lot less. So my top 3 goals for this challenge is to buy as close to no new clothing in 2020, get better at supporting smaller, local, independent, sustainable brands, and then also just hopefully getting some of my inner peace back. So let's get into how this might affect my content. To be honest, this is not really gonna affect my content that much, because like I've mentioned throughout this video, I've done a lot of these things for a long time. Maybe not as wholeheartedly committed like I'm gonna do now, but I've done it for a long time. I'm not a shopaholic anymore. I used to be, but I'm not. A lot of the content that I've been putting out there is content that I'm gonna be making also in 2020, even though I'm doing this challenge. So it's all about how to nail secondhand shopping, how to build a lasting wardrobe that you want to wear year after year, how to alter your own clothing and care for your clothing, how to style up certain items in multiple ways, how to come up with new outfit combinations only using what you already have. And I've also been providing you guys with sustainable fashion brands that I like and so much more. So I'm not really going to change my content. I might do even more different content on how to use what you already have more creatively, but it might affect the way that I work with brands, because as many of you guys know, I get to do online content for a living and I absolutely love this job. I love my job. I know that there are some people out there who hate ads and who cannot stand ads in general. And I get this to some extent, because to be honest, to some extent, I hate ads too. But I also believe it's only fair that content creators like me, or if you're a content creator yourself and you're watching this video, I think it's only fair that we get paid somehow for our work. And I simply no longer want to accept gifts as payment. I don't think that's fair. Then I'd much rather support a brand with my own money than to just get free stuff. And many of you guys might not know this, because some people think that influencers, they get a lot of free stuff all of the time. And definitely for me personally, that is not the case at all. I generally say no to giftings unless it's something that I'm really passionate about. I just don't think that it's right to call yourself a fair brand all the way around. But when it comes to online creators, we don't really need to pay you fairly. I've written a whole article on this subject and I'm not gonna delve into it here because I can go on forever. So I'm gonna link that article for you down below if you want to know more. It's not all about money for sure. I've always said that I would much rather have a part-time job on the side while creating online content than I want to shove lots of ads down your throat. And I feel like my channel is in general not overflowing with dedicated videos and ads because that's just not how I see it for me. I'm not saying this to step on anyone's toes here. I do sometimes work with someone, and again, I know some people hate ads and you might not like the brand that I'm working with, and I'll definitely take that feedback. But at the same time, I don't want to rely solely on ads as a way of getting an income as a content creator. Again, I'd much rather have a part-time job than to keep adding more and more ads to my content. Again, I do say yes to some ads and collaborations, and even though I'm on a low buy challenge for next year, I'll still make collaborations. There are collaborations that I've done this year that I'm extremely proud of. Like my collaboration with the Buns app, which is a trading app that I helped spread the message about. I love swapping, so why not? It's super sustainable. I've done a campaign with the trademark Tencel, which is one of the most sustainable fibers in the entire fashion industry. Really proud about that and really honored to be part of that campaign as well. I recently wrote an article for Buy a Gift, which was then reposted in Glamour magazine, their online magazine, all about my best tips on how to thrift your way into festive outfits this season. So there are collaborations that I'm extremely proud of and that I'm not gonna turn down. You know, if I get something similar offered in the future, I'm not gonna turn them down because some people don't like ads. That's pretty simple, because there's some things I'm just too passionate about and that I want to help spread the message about, and that I just simply don't want to turn down. I'll limit the amount of them for sure, like I've done all along. I don't want my channel to be overflowing with ads, and especially those type of ads that require that I buy something or receive a gifted like fashion item or something like that. I'll definitely keep those on an absolute minimum. In cases where it would be possible for me to maybe pass that item on to one of you guys or give it back to the brand, so only have it on loan for creating content, that would be amazing as well. But it's all a balance, because like I mentioned a couple of times throughout this video, I don't want you guys to feel like I'm shoving things down your throat or forcing you guys to buy anything. You get to choose yourself, and you know, choose wisely. Again, this is why I'd much rather call this whole challenge a low buy challenge, so I don't set myself or you guys up for failure. I am who I am. I love what I do. I am passionate about fashion, design, creating online content, and sustainability all in one big wonderful mess. And there must be a way that all of these things can be combined so it works for all of us. And I'll also keep linking below my videos if I'm wearing something or featuring something in a video. I'll keep linking similar options, like similar sustainably made options below of my videos. Again, just as a service for you guys, not because I'm shoving it down your throat, but I just sometimes get questions from you guys like, where did you buy that? And instead of me answering that same questions 100 times, I just feel like it's a lot easier to put a link in my description box. Still gonna provide you guys with product links here and there, and I promise you guys I'll do much better in terms of supporting smaller independent brands here as well, and not only like focus on some of the bigger brands out there. I also have my secondhand web shop. I have my ethically made to order jewelry brand that I'm extremely proud of, and that I'll keep working on, because these are also part of what I'm working on, and I'm not gonna stop doing these because I'm on a low buy challenge. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm forcing you to buy anything from my secondhand shop or from my jewelry range. Do it if it feels right for you, or don't if it doesn't. To wrap up this video, expect a hell of a lot more content about how to style up what you already have more creatively, and in general a lot of content on how to stay satisfied without shopping. I actually do have a video I made a few years back on that topic that I'll link right here if you want to check that out already now before starting the challenge. I will check in around every 2 to 3 months and also halfway through to let you guys know how it's going, and so that you can share how it's going for you guys. So let's inspire, empower, and help each other becoming better consumers, better content creators, people who watch online content, love to shop, whatever it might be that you want to improve. Let's lift each other up and help each other out during this challenge. So I've created a few hashtags so we can follow each other on this journey and learn something from each other. So one of the hashtags is useless_lowbuy2020. I do realize it's a bit long, but I wanted to create something uniquely for us. And then the other one is 2020 we have plenty. One of you guys gave me this idea over on my Instagram and I love it. I think it's genius. Use either of these hashtags, maybe both of them. You decide what works best for you. I'll do my best to repost your stories, your images, and all that on my channel and also on my Instagram. Maybe I'll even do a couple of Q&As throughout the challenge if you guys are struggling with something. With that, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys and good luck.